Hey guys, what's going on? If you're new here, my name is BrittanyNichole. I have extremely hooded eyes and I tend to do a lot of eyeshadow looks that work for my hooded eye boys and girls, which is why I wanted to pick up the James Charles palette from Morphe today. Today it was released at Ulta and I went right to my Ulta this morning to pick it up so I could see if it worked for my hooded eyes. So we're gonna kind of do like a first impressions, see my first initial thoughts. We're gonna play with it on my eyes a little bit. Not gonna do a full-on tutorial. I'm just gonna kind of see where the palette brings me and see what I feel like the formula is like. I know that there are a lot of pressed pigments in here, so I want to see what the fallout is like. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, go ahead and keep watching. All right, so I did want to mention I'm not like a super big person like who cares about the packaging, like the unit carton that things come in, but I think this is really pretty and it's very James Charles like with the white paint and then kind of an extravagant eyeshadow look. Now if you've been with me for a while, you know I don't do eyeshadow looks that are this extravagant, so I'm not gonna kind of step away from that. I might use some bright colors, but I like to keep it pretty simple. I have a whole video on my hooded eyes and what works for me as far as eyeshadow. I feel like the simpler the better, which is why I was kind of up in the air on if I wanted this palette or not. I do think that it, from what I saw online, it's all inclusive of like every shade you could ever want. I just don't tend to go into the brights too often, so I didn't know if I needed this in my collection, but when it dropped this morning I was like, all right, go get it, you need it. So it does of course come in bubble wrap. Again, I picked this up from Ulta. It was $39 and I'm sure you guys have all seen this already, but I really like that this is a black package and it's very sleek. I don't know if every collaboration they do, they have the person like sign. I don't own the Jaclyn Hill palette. I did get the Vault collection and I wasn't into it at all. So there's only really two Morphe eyeshadow palettes that I actually like, and that's the 35A and 35B, or 25A, 25B. They released it a couple years ago around Christmas, and I do like those, so we'll see how I feel. I think this is like cardboard packaging, which I like. I think it's easier for travel, and it does not come with a mirror, which again, I like. I think that's easy for travel, and I think if you're a pro makeup artist, that will come in handy as well. It gets kind of like bulky and annoying when you have to worry about mirrors shattering, so I personally like that in a palette, and I have tons of mirrors around me that I use anyway, and it's hard when I'm doing videos if I'm to hold something up like that and use the mirror. It gets kind of annoying in my opinion. So anyway, this is what the palette looks like. I'm not going to swatch everything because he has an entire video on swatching and I'm just not that big into finger swatches anyway. So like I said, lots of bright colors, lots of colors I don't think I'd ever use, like not that side, this side, the greens and stuff like that, but who knows? At least now I have them in my collection to play with. So let's go ahead and just kind of play and see what we can come up with here. So I'm just gonna grab a little mirror and I don't know, I'm kind of feeling like some pinks here. Like this shade is super pretty and kind of calling my name. I really like that. I think if I remember correctly, pardon my disgusting nails, yeah, it's like a pink shade with kind of a golden undertone, which is really pretty and unique and different, and I don't have one like that. This shade is called Literally. I wish they had these written on the pan, but I'm sure that's more expensive. So that's what it looks like swatched on the back of my hand. Like I said, I'm not that big into finger swatches. That does seem pretty sheer, but we'll see how it performs on the eye. So I'm going to take the first shade Canvas, which is just kind of a skin tone color for me, and actually no, I'm not. I'm going to use my NYX Proof It Primer. I've been really enjoying this. I talked about this in my last video. Jasmine, Juicy Jazz on YouTube uses this, and I really like it. I think it does keep your eyeshadow on a little bit longer. No, it's not going to give you any coverage, but I have a whole video where I'm talking about this, which I'll link below if you guys want to see it, but I'm just gonna prime the eye to start. All right, so we are a lot closer now and we're gonna go ahead and just get started. So like I said, I'm gonna take Canvas, which is kind of like a skin tone shade for me, and I'm just gonna kind of set that primer down because it is super sticky, and because I do have hooded eyes, when I look like this and I'm not raising my brows, sometimes it kind of picks up the color right here and like takes everything off because my eyes are so hooded. So I do want to go ahead and set this just with a light fluffy brush. I also do know that I really need my eyebrows threaded. I'm going to do that this weekend, so bear with me. I know they need to be done. Ugh, there is a beautiful purple glittery shade here that I'm pretty sure will have fallout, so I don't want to play with that today, and I'm not doing anything crazy today, so I'm going to kind of keep it a little more simple. But I'm going to go ahead and go in with a MAC 239 and just start with literally that first pink shade, and I'm just taking that there on the brush. I'm not wetting the brush at all, and I'm going to put that all over the lid. Okay, so I just packed that on my lid and blended it out a little bit, and I don't feel like it's as pigmented as I want it to be when I'm just using it on the brush. So I'm gonna try to spray my brush with setting spray and see if that intensifies it at all. I'm assuming it will because that's usually the case with Morphe shadows, but you can see what I'm talking about. It's just not quite there when you're just using your brush. So I sprayed it, and yes, way more pigmented, but now it's kind of starting to ball up. I hope you guys can see that on camera. It's balling up a lot. I've actually never really had that happen with shadows, but that could be my fault since I've already applied a couple layers without any setting spray and then I went on top of it. But the shade itself is really pretty and unique. I like that it kind of has like a goldish undertone. So I'm going to go ahead and do this eye to kind of match them up. Alright, so I did this eye by just spraying my brush, and I applied a couple layers, and I'm scared to apply more because I think that it's going to kind of ball up again. So I'm just going to take a little on my finger to try to intensify a little bit and hope that like the oils from my finger will kind of melt it in. I think that this shade might just be one that you want to use more on top of like a concealer rather than right on bare skin like I did, like a cut crease or kind of like a shadow topper, because it's just not quite as pigmented as I want it to be, but the shade itself is really pretty and I like it. So I'm gonna just kind of blend it out. That's the other thing, when I blend it out, it kind of takes away most of the shadow, so you can kind of see when I'm blending here, it removes a lot of the pigment. So I think I might just kind of use this more as like a shadow topper in the future. I'm gonna take this e.l.f. smudge brush and I think I'm gonna go in with Mary, and I'm gonna kind of intensify the outer corner of this. Just want to make sure we play with both mattes and shimmers. And then I'm just taking a little bit of Punch Me onto this fluffy brush to kind of bring everything together as it moves inwards, so I can kind of create a shape since I don't really have a crease. Alright, so this is what it's looking like after going in with a little bit of Mary on the outer corner and then Punch Me just to kind of round everything out. I think that the mattes blended really well into the shimmers and I really like how it performed. It's definitely pigmented. I had minimal fallout, just a teensy tiny bit that I was able to wipe away right away with Mary, but they blended really well into the shimmers and didn't require a lot of work at all, which I'm really enjoying. I think I am going to want to go in over literally with another shimmer at some point, maybe Halloween or Shook, I'm not sure, we'll see. But I do want to go ahead and round this out, so I'm going to do the lower lash line just following the same thing. I'm going to go in with a little bit of Mary and then a little bit of Punch Me. Under eyes are done, and I think I decided we're going to go over literally with, I flipped my sheet the wrong way, Halloween. Looks just like that. I think that might be a little more pigmented, although it's gonna kind of turn the look a little more orangey. Let's just see what it looks like. So I'm gonna go over with my finger. Yeah, that's a lot more pigmented than Literally. So if I ever go in with Literally again, I'll go ahead and put some concealer down first and kind of carve out that area. I just don't think it's quite pigmented enough to be used on its own. But this is definitely showing up a little bit more. So that's Halloween. I think that looks a lot better and more pigmented than Literally, and it didn't blend away when I went in with my blending brush and started to kind of blend it into the matte shade. So I'm gonna intensify the outer corners a little bit with Mary, then I'm gonna put on some mascara and some lashes, and I'll be right back here to show you everything completed and give you my thoughts on this palette so far. Alright you guys, and this is the completed look with lashes and mascara. I went in with the Allure X Jasmine Brown lashes here. It's a new pair, so I had a little bit of trouble, but the overall effect of these I do really like. I did want to mention off camera, I went in with the highlight shade in the palette, Sister. I added that just on the inner corner, and then to intensify the lower lash line a little bit, I took a little bit of the black shade, Spooky, and then the brown shade next to that, No Beans, and I mixed those together under the lower lash line, and those performed better than any brown and black shadow I've ever used. They were super pigmented, no fallout, and they blended effortlessly. So I am really, really excited about those shadows because those are staples in any palette, and they're large pans. So overall, I really like this palette. I think for $39, this is one that you're gonna absolutely wanna add to your collection. Again, I picked this up at Ulta today. They are in stores, and then they're also online at Ulta if you wanted to buy it that way. I'm pretty sure they sold out on the Morphe site. I'll list all that information below, but again, for $39, hooded eyes or no hooded eyes, you're gonna wanna add this one to your collection. So I'm so happy I picked it up because I was on the fence about this, but I think that these mattes are beautiful. I'm going to play around a little bit more with the shimmers. I've only played with a couple of them, but I'm really excited to play a little bit more. So let me know if you guys have any questions. Let me know if you picked up this palette or if you're going to be picking it up. Otherwise, if you're interested in seeing any more videos from me, please subscribe. It means the absolute world to me, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.